Hi guys. So my piece on John D. Rockefeller received some pretty good comments, so I thought, why not try it again? Except this time, I'm outside. When you think of breakfast, what do you think of? Probably some sizzling bacon, some lightly peppered eggs, maybe a piece of toast, maybe a pickle if you're Everett.
Okay, I'll double fist them.
Well, did you know that 100 years ago, breakfast was basically cereal and coffee? So what happened? Let me tell you a story. So we've talked a lot about marketing this week, and I decided, what better excuse do I have to give you guys a little bit of a report about the guy who's credited as founding the field of public relations. You know, because public relations and marketing really go hand in hand. And that is a man called Edward Bernays. Edward Bernays was born in Vienna, Austria in 1891. Later on in the decade, he emigrated with his family over to the United States. After high school, Bernays became a journalist, and as a lot of journalists do, eventually moved into public relations. Initially, he worked as a press agent for performers and performances. Even early on in his career, he was remarkably effective at getting butts in the seats. One of his first campaigns involved using this photo of Swiss ballet dancer Flore Revolles to publicize a ballet dance in New York City. Bernays also worked for the American government's Committee for Public Information during World War I. Here he learned some very valuable lessons about what propaganda could do. As he later recalled, there was one basic lesson I learned in the CPI, that efforts comparable to those applied by the CPI to affect the attitudes of the enemy, of neutrals, and people of this country could be applied with equal facility to peacetime pursuits. In other words, what could be done for a nation at war could be done for organizations and people in a nation at peace. In a sense, Bernays was talking about propaganda, something he would get better and better at as he practiced it. And one of the ways he applied that lesson was selling bacon. Fearing declining sales, the Beechnut Packing Company hired Bernays to put more bacon on Americans' plates. At this time, the typical American breakfast was usually pretty light, usually nothing more than a cereal or a cup of coffee. It's definitely not what you would picture today. Bernays then went to a doctor and asked the following question: are these light breakfasts good for you, or would a heavier breakfast be better? That doctor oh wait, sorry, hold on. I'm getting word that we actually have video clip of Bernays talking about this. Roll that clip, maestro.
We went to our physician, found that a heavy breakfast was sounder from the standpoint of health than a light breakfast. We asked the physician, after telling him why we were talking to him, would he be willing, at no cost, to write to 5,000 physicians and ask them whether their judgment was the same as his, confirmed his judgment.
So after asking those 5,000 doctors, Bernays got 4,500 responses that all concurred. A heavier breakfast was more healthy than a lighter breakfast. All Bernays did was put that information out to the press, along with the idea that maybe bacon and eggs were an ideal way to add some weight to that breakfast. Bernays also did work for the tobacco industry. Looking to expand their market, the American Tobacco Company hired Bernays to see if they could find out how to get at a long untapped market: women. You see, in those days, it was considered unseemly for women to be seen smoking in public. When he researched this, he found that the feminist movement, then in its heyday, considered cigarettes to be torches of freedom, a way to rebel against the restrictive norms of the day. Tapping into this idea, Bernays organized a group of women to enter the 1929 Easter Sunday parade in New York City, smoking cigarettes. Of course, a highly public event, he thought that the sight of all of these women smoking would inspire other women to do the same and take up cigarettes. And you know what? It worked. Thanks, Eddie. But perhaps Bernays' most controversial client was the United Fruit Company. They hired Bernays at the start of the 1940s to get them more banana sales. While Bernays was working for them, a revolution happened in Guatemala, which was then a leading producer of United Fruit's product. Guatemala's new, democratically elected president leaned just a bit too far to the left for United Fruit. At Bernays' urging, the company started a media blitz, painting the new president as a communist. As this was at the height of the Cold War, It was a resoundingly effective strategy. In fact, it was so successful that the CIA launched a coup d'etat against this president and installed a more friendly, pro-American one. Friendly to United Fruit anyways. This kicked off 30 years of civil war in Guatemala. Bernays was truly a master manipulator, and he saw himself as such. See, Bernays saw society as being controlled by instinct, and thus needed higher-minded, more rational individuals in order to guide it. Bernays said that intelligent men must realize that propaganda is the modern instrument by which they can fight for productive ends and help bring order out of chaos. Bernays thought that somebody, somewhere, was going to end up controlling society. So why not somebody with good aims instead of evil? Why not him? Of course, all this makes him sound kind of like a dick. And by some accounts, he was. But there can be no denying that his intelligence and his influence are what form the basis for modern marketing and modern public relations today. Let me leave you with this quote about Bernays. It is impossible to fundamentally grasp the social, political, economic, and cultural developments of the past 100 years without some understanding of Bernays and his professional heirs in the public relations industry. PR is a 20th century phenomenon, and Bernays, widely eulogized as the father of public relations at the time of his death in 1995, played a major role in defining the industry's philosophy and methods. Stick around and I'll let you know. Oh, there's a dog coming here. Hello! Hello! Is that the best one? Oh, be nice. Be nice, please. Please be nice. Hello, hello. Yes, hello. You're stepping all over my script. Oh. Thank you, though. Dog stepped on my script. It's a little muddy. Hello. So after asking those $5,000, Bernays, that's $5,000. $5,000. So after asking those $5,000, oh wow, why do I keep saying $5,000? When he researched this, he found that the feminist movement, when he researched this, he found that the feminist, fucking Christ, and installed a pro-American government. What the fuck? Some lightly peppered toast. Lightly peppered toast? Okay. You might be surprised to learn that only 100 years ago, that notion of breakfast was completely fucking, that was so good! Oh! You know, a way to rebel against the patriarchal in order to increase their okay, that was a good take.